What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, we're gonna go ahead and pick up this BMW X3 M40i from Parker's that we actually went and dropped off. On the previous episode, the last two front subframe bolts would not fit in, indicating that our frame rail was still bent. So we went ahead and actually dropped this thing off. We're gonna go ahead and grab our trailer that we actually just restored the wood and everything else on this thing. So if you haven't checked out that video, make sure to go check that out. But let's go ahead, pick this thing up so we can bring it back and start doing the radiators and some assembling. We got some surprising news that just came in that I'm super excited to show you guys, because this is going to really change the game of how this X3 Beamer is going to look like. Guys, take a look at this. I mean, this turned out really good. Our frame rails also are now straight, and everything on the bottom subframe, the front bolts that were not lining up, they were all now all in, and they fit perfectly right there on the frame rail. Same with on this side as well. There it is. And also underneath here, pull this cover down, the bolts are all lined up. So there's one bolt, there's another one down here, that one's in, and also the last one that's back here, that one is trying to get the camera in there, that one is also in. Same with this side, all the bolts all lined up perfectly, meaning that everything is 100% square now and ready to roll. So now what we can do is go ahead, start pulling off the coolers, get this thing lowered back down, and start replacing the coolers, and then we're really close to start reassembling and test fitting all the boxes of parts that I have over here that's waiting to get assembled. So we got the old radiator up front in front of the other radiator. So this has two radiators up front and then the transmission cooler right there. And so what ends up happening is the turbo car, it's got two separate reservoirs, one there and one that black tank right next to it. And that also goes, this radiator also goes down to that intercooler radiator. And one's for basically for the turbocharger, if I'm not mistaken, and the other one's for the engine cooling. And then you got the transmission for the transmission cooling. But this is obviously our culprit right here. This is damaged. As you guys can see, there is some damage there. On this side of it as well, there is some damage there. It bent over all the sides over here as well. And looking at the transmission cooler, this is obviously damaged. You could have told that before. It's all crinkled up here. But the main radiator, I believe, might be fine. Because looking around it, I don't see any cracks. All the tabs are still intact. Everything on here has no cracks whatsoever. I don't even see any damage. So I think what happened is that radiator and that intercooler where I got hit from the bottom right over there took the main impact. And that would have probably saved the main radiator, which hopefully is the case. All I see back here upon shining the lights is a hose that goes right here. And if you can see the hose right there, that hose is just has broken off or probably got kinked and ripped. And that hose actually goes around here, really easy to get to. Goes all the way to the top over there, which you can access from the top, and goes to one of those things over there. So it's not too hard to do, but I believe that the reason why that radiator coolant tank leaked all the way out was because of that hose. That's actually, you can see a better angle from here. Because of that hose that got crunched in the accident and cut. But the radiator itself, I believe, is good. And so what we're gonna have to do is go ahead and install the new transmission cooler, the front radiator, and we have our box right here. But the only problem with this is the fact that BMW sent us the main radiator that we believe is good. Now, I don't want to just keep throwing parts at this thing because that's when things get overly costly. So we're gonna go ahead and call them so they can pick this one up and bring us back the skinnier radiator. Because the one they sent us, like I said, that's the big thicker one, and that's the main one that goes up there. Here's the hose that I was talking about. So literally just runs along the bottom over here of the radiator, comes along the top, and then plugs into that guy right over here. Love BMW and Mercedes for their quick connectors. Makes life a whole lot easier when you're disconnecting these hoses because they never get stuck on. And the rest of that hose comes right over here where it's damaged at, as you can see, and just goes right into here. So that's gonna be a pretty quick hose change. We've already called in, got that hose on the way, got that radiator ordered. Well, not that one. This radiator ordered and swapped out for that one that they sent us that's in that box. And so once that comes in, then we'll throw that back in. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and wait it out because there's really no sense of doing anything else till we're waiting on that. And once again, this thing goes on hold. So I'll catch you guys back in a couple of days once we get everything back in, and we'll start putting the radiator assembly back together. So guys, actually, quick thought here. I just realized that while we're waiting, we could still go ahead and put this bottom reinforcement bumper bracket bar on with our old subframe. When it was damaged, it's aluminum, so it had bent up the old one. We actually got a new mount that's already on the subframe over there that we had installed when we put the subframe together. So we just got to put this bottom bar on there, and that way that will get that all completed and out of the way. And still, it's perfectly doable because the radiator will still have a far distance from it for us to move stuff around, so it won't get in our way as well. On top of which, we're gonna have to go ahead and remove the old bolts off the broken one. We're gonna still save this because we also got a bolt here for one of the brackets that go to the radiator that we already ordered. So let's go ahead and take this bolt off, get this bottom bracket on here, and look at the difference. The other thing that we could also do is, as you guys remember, we can go ahead and throw on our seatbelt on here and therefore get this out of the way, knocked out. And we'll go ahead and also change the driver wheel airbag and the curtain airbags later once it's on the lift, well, off the lift, because of the simple fact that you don't really get much room in clearance when the car is on the lift. And you get more room when the car's off the lift, and it just makes life a whole lot easier. So let's go ahead and get that seatbelt on there on the driver's side. Get this thing, every little baby step gets this thing one step closer to completion. When the parts come in that we ordered, then we'll go ahead and put this together. And get this, guys, there's only 3 of these hoses literally available in the whole entire United States of America. And we got one of the 3 that we ordered. Not that expensive, $86, and it'll be here on Monday. So today is Friday, so a couple days there. And the radiator also, there was only 2 available in the whole US of A, and we got this one able to get swapped out. The good news is the bigger one that we don't need, which is the one they sent us, is about $80 cheaper than the one that we, I guess, bought. So I just confused myself there. What I mean exactly is a thicker radiator that's over here, the one that we don't need, which is the one that they sent us that's in this box over here, is more expensive than the secondary radiator that goes in front of that radiator, which is a skinnier radiator, which is right over here that's damaged. About $80 cheaper. The hose is about $86. So technically, when we swap that out, we come out even, save some money there, and everything on there will be good. This car, like I said, has so many radiators that it gets confusing. We literally got 1, 2, the trans cooler, that radiator is 4, and then we got another one there that's the wrong part. So 5 radiators. I'm trying to figure out trying to describe it kind of gets confusion trying to, explain it. So hopefully you guys got what I just said there. And we're going to go ahead and wait on that. That'll come in here in a couple days. Let's go ahead and get started on that seatbelt. Just like that, the new seat built in, everything works, not locked up anymore, and also locks up when you pull on it real fast. So we lift also this right here, not fully fastened. You can see how it's still loose because of the fact that we still got to replace our curtain airbags on this vehicle on both sides. And this headliner will actually go back, and none of it's ripped, so that's the good thing. And it'll actually form back into shape once it's, got everything back together and this airbag curtain's not blown. We'll go ahead and do this once we get the car back on the ground. And for now, we got the bottom side all put together, everything on there, on the bolts on the bottom's all good together as well, and everything went in smoothly. This interior is beautiful, guys. I can't wait to get this thing on the ground and get this thing all detailed up. I mean, there's dirt everywhere, so we'll clean this thing up, give it a full detail. If you look really closely, you can see the ambient lighting, and it looks really cool. Same with this one, but this is out in the light right now, so you really can't see it. But the front passenger door as well, you can barely see that one over there. Looks really cool. The whole car all around has this on it, and I believe it goes around the front dash as well. Yes, it does, because you can kind of see it illuminating. Look what we have here. We got our brand new radiator from BMW, brought to us literally the next day with that bad hose that's over there as well. And we got that here as well, so we can actually continue and move forward, go ahead and replace all the parts, and get this thing one step closer. And just like that, we've got all the radiators. This thing's got 1, 2, another cooler here, another cooler there. All of it all hooked up. Transmission cooler, all the lines all hooked up. All of the quick connects That's one cool thing about these BMWs and Mercedes is it's got that quick connect on there. Everything is in. We got the bottom bar in there, the side brackets, and also the other side bracket over there. Before I put this front end back together and we start going on the bumper, as you guys can see, we are getting closer and closer. I've got the bumper right over here. I've got the top radiator bars, all the parts here, literally headlights and all from BMW. I want to make sure that this car doesn't leak anything, because it would be a shame to put all that together and this thing to start leaking and we can't see where the leaks are coming from. I have to go ahead and wait on BMW to get us some fluid for the cooling system, as they used a different type of fluid on these newer models. They're not the blue fluid anymore, it's a green fluid, and we just ordered it straight from them because I want to make sure everything on this thing has the right stuff in there. So that's going to be here in the next couple days, and we'll catch you guys back when they get here. Alrighty guys, so we actually have our cooling system, as you guys know, all together. Before the fluids come in, I got some distilled water over here, and I want to make sure there's no leaks whatsoever. So we got our airlift system over here, and this has a vacuum gauge on it, and it pulls vacuum into both the reservoirs. We have one for the turbo system and we have one for the main cooling. So like this radiator here and the auxiliary radiator about a passenger side, that's for the turbo system. The main one is this one right here, which is that big white tank over there. Since these run on two different systems, we got it right here, and we're gonna hold it back. We're gonna attempt to hold the vacuum on the black one first, and if we have no leaks whatsoever, it should be around 26 on the green and the gauge right over here. So we're waiting for our compressor. We just turned it on to air up a little bit, and I'll show you guys if this holds the vacuum, and hopefully the other one does too as well. So give me a feel, I'll show you guys what happens. On the green, so I'll show you guys what happens when we go to the next one. So we're pulling vacuum onto the next one, which is the main radiator tank, and right away you guys can see we're not getting nothing at all. So that means we have a leak somewhere. Let's go ahead and figure out where our leak is at. So I'm really hoping that since BMW already sent us that main radiator over there, and we, I guess I chose not to replace that because it looked good and I couldn't see any visible cracks whatsoever, and I didn't have my tester here to pull vacuum. So now that I have a tester that just came in, a couple hours ago, it would have probably been a good idea to probably, have one of these before I put this whole cooling system together, because what I'm thinking right now is that our main radiator might be bad since it can't pull vacuum on it. I didn't see any leaks whatsoever or any cracks or anything on the radiator itself, but who knows, it could be covered underneath all the plastic shrouds and other radiators that are sandwiched in there. So let's go ahead. We got our distilled water over here. We'll go ahead and pour this into the main tank, and in theory this should leak out once we have enough water in here out of wherever it's leaking from. And since it couldn't hold a vacuum, the leak should be a pretty large leak. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this up, and we'll go ahead and see where it's at. I need some more water, so let me go grab some more. And right away you can see all the water that we just poured in to the main radiator expansion tank leaking out. Now it's not from this, obviously, as that's the transmission cooler. That's not that. It's not this, because that was brand new. It's the one that got the radiator fans and everything else that I guess I chose to send back to BMW, thinking they sent me the wrong one, because the visible damage, as you can see, was on the one below here. And that's why when I saw the visible cracks and everything, we just replaced that and this. And as I thought I was smart enough and explained that the transmission cooler probably took the impact and the other radiator, I guess I was wrong. It did crack this. I can't see where any of the crack is, so I guess once we pull it all apart again and pull that radiator out, I'll hopefully see the crack, because it is leaking. And good thing I didn't put any coolant in there and just filled it up with some distilled water just to test, and also pull a vacuum to confirm. Because man, what a nightmare would this have been if we put the whole front end back together and everything, and you can't, you have to take it apart. Because right now it's a lot easier. So on the bright side, we didn't waste any money on the HT12 cooling system coolant that we have to buy from BMW, and I guess we don't have to tear the front end apart again, just the radiator. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this again, and I'll put this on fast forward for you guys so it'll barely take you guys any time to see, and we'll get this corrected. Alrighty, look what showed up. Our radiator that we sent back showed back up again, and we have it here. So let's go ahead and actually swap over the fan and everything from this old one over to the new one, and I'm gonna fast forward everything so you guys have already seen the process. And we're gonna put this thing all back together and hopefully bleed out the whole entire system and get this thing for our first start and see if it leaks anything. Alrighty guys, so we got everything all put back together, radiator, transmission coolers, the original radiator with the fan assembly and everything that was bad. And before we had a good vacuum on the small canister, but not the big one. And I got this one already hooked up over here. Right now it's at 0. And we're gonna hook up some air to get some vacuum on it. And check out all the old radiators and hoses and little fittings and all this little stuff that you don't really see on camera. Some of this stuff you can't really catch, but we have to replace all these little brackets. This transmission cooler, radiator, the other one, the hose that was bad, little brackets and stuff, and then all the other boxes that they all came in. So this right here is probably a good maybe $1,500 worth of parts just right here, but hopefully it was all worth it. Let's go ahead and pull a vacuum on that thing and see if all that hard work paid off. As you can see, take a look at that. That hose is already sucked in and pulled the vacuum on it, and our pressure is still good. So we are all good to go. I'm checking this probably a good 4 or 5 minutes later, and you want to check 4 or 5 minutes later that way in case you have a slow leak. And this one already was good, but we're gonna go ahead and test this one out too because we did disassemble everything just to make sure so we're not leaking anything. So let's go ahead, swap this over to this and retest that. Alrighty, 4 minutes later, as you guys can see, it's still holding the vacuum in the same spot that we lifted at. Both our cooling systems good to go. Let's go ahead and fill this thing up. This airlift really pays off, guys, especially when the bottles of coolant is almost $30 a bottle, and you don't want to be spewing that all over your shop floors or in your driveway or wherever you're doing this. This thing is a game changer. We can also suck up our fluid with this, and I'll show you guys how we're gonna do this. So here is our special antifreeze. It's called HG12, and that's made exclusively for BMW. Used to be a blue or a pink, and now they went green. And on the directions on this, it does say it does need to be pre-mixed. So we're gonna have to go ahead and get some distilled water, and we're gonna go ahead and hop into the car, go get some distilled water because I only had that 1 gallon there. And I also have another gallon here, but just in case, I'll go grab 2 more. Actually, two more, because I have 1 there, and that was for the pre-fill when I was just making sure the radiator wasn't leaking. So that way we can have half and half, and we'll be good to go. so we got our distilled water, and we're gonna go ahead and mix it into our bucket over here. And therefore, we're gonna go ahead and suck this in, and I'll show you guys how this works. The way this works is you got a fill hose right here that also hooks up. It's got a little filter at the end of it. You pull the vacuum on here. Once the vacuum's all the way up to the green like it was, you then remove this right here, and you hook up your next one, which is your fill one. And you open up the valve again, and it sucks in all the coolant into here to your cooling system, all without having any air in it, so you don't have to go in there and bleed the system and sit there, especially on a car that has multiple radiators. So it's a lot easier to have one of these, fill it up, and just be done with it. As you guys can see, we got coolant into our hoses, and we don't want it to get to zero, so we'll shut this valve off right here so we don't get any air in the system. And once it gets over to zero, I believe that's when it fills up your reservoir tank and all your hoses are full in that system. Alrighty, so it's down to zero and we are almost full. Sucked up everything in there, so we should be good to go. Take a look at that. Looks like we are all full. Coolant's in there. Now we're gonna go ahead and swap it over to that, and that only took about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and we're good to go. And just like that, we are there at the halfway mark, and our cooling system is fully full. Same with the other one over here. We are good to go. So now that everything's all in, I guess that means our test start. Let's go ahead and test it. And so far it's really good. There's no leaks like before. We just poured some water in there and it started leaking. We're gonna go ahead and start this thing up, let it run on the lift, and check for any leaks. And we have mission success, guys. Mission was accomplished. Everything's on max. We are good to go. This is still good as well. And this cooling system also is self-bleeding as well. So if there is any air whatsoever, it'll self-bleed because we did vacuum most of it all out. No leaks whatsoever from any of the radiators. The fans also are on as well. And these are electrical fans, but they are spinning. Hard to see on camera. So this is good to go, guys. And look at this, we got all of our parts here that we've ordered that just been sitting here ready for reassembly. Airbags, headlights, bumpers, grills. I mean, there's a bunch of parts back here. But guys, that's all the time we have in this video. On our next video, we're gonna go ahead and actually start putting the bumpers on there, the grills on there, and everything else. We actually got the whole cooling system 100% done. Let the car run for a good 25 minutes, guys. No overheating, and we just shut it off. Coolant levels are good. That little air tag system right there works amazing, and I highly recommend it if you don't have one. We'll put that thing in a link below as well for you guys, so you guys can go ahead and order that. There is no affiliates program or anything else like that that we're making money off of, so if you want to buy it, go ahead. If not, so be it. Do it the old-fashioned way. But guys, we do put a lot of time and effort on these videos. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button. Also, it keeps you in the loop in case another video comes out. Smash that like button, and if you have something to say, drop it down in the comments. And until then, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.